You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Last week with the early signing period, NIL became front and center again for many of us, especially as it pertains to recruiting. And to be abundantly clear, NCAA rules do prohibit NIL enticements in recruiting. Sometimes things stray of the rules, but for all intents and purposes, one thing is very clear, is that other schools have been far outpacing LSU with respect to NIL deals for their student athletes, even though the schools themselves can't facilitate those. Gordon McKernan, of course, is an injury attorney based out of Baton Rouge, recently agreed to terms with an NIL deal with LSU women's basketball standout Alexis Morris, and apparently is maybe looking to try to get LSU moving in a more positive direction as with respect to NIL. And Gordon's good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Gordon, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas. How are you?
I'm doing well. Merry Christmas to you.
We appreciate it. All right, let's start with the deal that you and your firm did with Alexis Morris. Why? Why jump into the NIL space?
Well, I had looked at it last year when it first came out, and there seemed like this mad rush out of the gate, and you didn't have solid footing really at that time. And so I kind of stepped back after evaluating some deals, and then had the good fortune to meet Coach Mulkey and sit down and visit with her at lunch, and just was really impressed by her vision for the program, and decided that I wanted to be a part of that. And the easiest and best way for me to do it was just to try to see if I could get an NIL deal with one of her players. And after doing some research and looking into things, decided that Alexis would be the perfect fit, and very excited about it, and just love her as a person on and off the court.
Is this the only NIL deal you've done so far?
This is, yes.
What so you said you looked into it earlier, and NIL went live, I guess, officially over the summer, June or July. What has maybe surprised you or been different from what your perception might have been before to what the reality is?
Right. Well, initially coming out, I wasn't expecting, I would say, the uneven footing or the what the agents and the players were thinking the value of a single tweet or a couple of tweets or one photo would be worth relative to how it would benefit a business or any business. And that's what I was saying. Like, if you just want money and nothing in return, because that's basically all I'm getting out of it, I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in the relationship. And that was a little surprising. I do think now that the players are beginning to understand what really works both ways for the player and for a business is to have a relationship over a period of months or a whole season. And that's what we've done with Alexis.
Gordon McKernan is our guest. Just for the record, what is your relationship with LSU? Personally, professionally, like, are you an alum? We know JG was a walk-on.
Right.
I mean, but fill us in about you and your family and the relationship there.
Yeah, well, it goes way back. Both of my parents went to LSU. My dad actually played basketball at LSU back in the 50s. Then I attended LSU. I played for Coach Brown. He had a freshman team because there was so much talent when I came out in 1984. They were just stockpiling players to help with practice and things like that. So I did that for a semester, hurt my ankle that semester. And then my wife, my kids, my father-in-law at Jimmy Field played quarterback there. So it's a deep relationship in terms of having gone there, a love for the university, and then want to continue to support it in many ways since then and continue to do so.
Okay, that's a great foundation to build on this conversation because people, like a lot of people listening right now, have a similar relationship. Went there, grew up cheering for LSU, family, love for LSU, all that, want to see LSU succeed. So we go through last week, and then the NIL conversation becomes massive because we see Travis Hunter go to Jackson State. You just never see a 5-star sign with an HBCU, and there are these assumptions that there was a 7-figure deal with Barstool, and there's a lot of other ones that are being whispered about, and some that have already become public. So let me get, as a very prominent business owner, let me get your perspective on what is happening right now across college football as it pertains to NIL and enticements and things like that.
Yeah, well, obviously I don't have any proof of things that are going on, right? But you hear the whispers, and you see some things that make you scratch your head, right? And why would that 5-star recruit end up there? So it does make you suspect, circumstantially or however. But I do think that there's an arms race going on, just like the football facilities and things that you have to build to compete. You better be building an NIL program, you being the community, the businesses around it, to help your athletes at your university that you support. And that's what has to be happening. LSU, from my understanding, I haven't talked to them directly about it, but I know they're generally looking at things. When I say LSU, TAF or other organizations out there may be doing stuff. I know that myself and some other business owners are banding together quickly and have been and begun organizing and raising commitment levels that will be substantial, that will be 7 figures, that will be, $1 million plus, easy, to get the word out that LSU is going to support. I mean, not LSU, the business community here is going to support its NIL potential for the athletes that go to that school.
So, and Gordon McKernan's with us for a couple more minutes. To be clear, just for the record, have you spoken with anyone directly associated with LSU, the administration, athletic administration, et cetera, about all of this?
No, I haven't. I have gotten pointed in the direction I could go. Where can I learn about this? I don't want to commit a mistake. So, of course, we had to reach out to compliance for Alexis, right? So I had to figure that out. How do we do it? Make sure we have the right contract, get it submitted. So generally understanding how to learn of it. And then once you start doing that, you start seeing all these other schools and what they're doing. When I mean schools, I mean the support, the community that supports them, right? South Carolina has a big one and Florida has a big one. So that's what I mean when I say a school. It's the community of business owners that are supporting them.
Look, some have been very overt. The University of Texas.
Yes.
There's a deal that an MMA facility in Florida did for the entire University of Miami roster. So yes, we understand. Like there are businesses that support certain universities that are collaborating to help expand an NIL program independent of the
Correct.
university directly. So I
right.
understand that you're treading lightly and we all understand why and not trying to run afoul of anything. I completely respect that and understand.
Correct.
To what you said that you've spoken to other business owners,
right?
To please elaborate to whatever degree you can or feel comfortable on the extent of those conversations and what might be expected.
Well, as you could imagine, other business owners who have a love for LSU are reading of these stories of Texas and Florida and South Carolina and Washington, and I believe there's close to 20 schools now that have what's kind of become to known as a collective or an exchange, right? And that's the sharing of business owners and fans can get involved and help support these NIL athletes. And unfortunately here in Louisiana, our state law is a little bit unclear as to how it can be structured and organized from different standpoints, and we're trying to work through that. So we've begun talking about that and figuring out what is the best way to advance this and quickly, because we need to get out there for, the university, Coach Kelly, all the programs so that they can point to, look, you're going to have opportunities for NIL if you come to LSU. And I know they can't promise them that, but the kids will understand that there is a collective or an exchange in Louisiana for LSU athletes. So that's what we're talking about, trying to figure out the mechanism, the structure, the commitment levels, and how quickly we can get it done.
Is there enough money within LSU support, within LSU support system, to be competitive in that respect with Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, so the ones that we see that are really making headway in this space?
Yeah, I believe there is. Obviously, Texas sometimes seems to be in a different league of their own, whether it's their own television network or other things they do. It's just a little bit different, right? Things are bigger in Texas in a way. But all those other schools and to some degree Texas, I believe we're going to be very competitive.
What's a realistic time frame for you all that are organizing to to organize.
Right. Well, that's a good question. Like I mentioned, there's some different statutes that we're trying to look at in terms of what we can do. But I'm hopeful 90 days, 120 days, we can have something formally organized and launched. Now, that doesn't prevent anything in the meantime from any business owner here in Louisiana. It doesn't matter if you're a mom and pop convenience store on the corner in LaRose, or you have a big industrial facility in Monroe, right? Any business owner has the right and can reach out to any NIL athlete at any school, right? And say, look, I'd like to try to strike a deal with you, and an athlete can do the same. So particularly here at LSU, I want people and business owners to understand that. We don't have to sit on the sidelines and wait, just like I didn't do with Alexis. And right now I'm currently pursuing several other deals with, prominent LSU football players. I mean, I'm trying to put some things together. So I think we as supporters of LSU or whatever college here in the state you love, you need to get off the sidelines and get in the NIL game.
I could talk to you all day about this. I'm going to be very respectful of your time and not keep you much longer. But I find this topic fascinating for a lot of very obvious reasons, because this is a transformative time in the history of intercollegiate athletics. It's not even debatable, like what we are all living through right now. But you also mentioned statutes. Have you spoken to anyone within the state legislature about policy that could affect how all of this comes together for places like LSU and other schools in the state?
No, I have not, but I have identified kind of the issues and have a plan. And I've just, as you can imagine, I've just kind of gotten pulled into this quicker than I was planning on. Alexis deal, and I was kind of watching my time and figuring out the next deal, and it kind of picked up some steam, and you could see what was happening, and figured, well, someone needs to get off the sidelines, as I mentioned, and kind of put myself out there and then started making calls. And like I said, spoke to some other prominent businessmen who feel just the same. Yeah, we need to do something. And it's also to benefit their business. And some people want to do it just gratuitously, just to help a program.
Well, man, you'll really put it out there now, man. If you were trying to ease up, Eddie, this ain't going to help you, brother.
I know. My wife just looks at me sometimes and goes, really, like you don't have enough to do already.
Well, hey, look, man, you pick your battles in life, man, and this is one that many are going to support. Last thing, ballpark, how many business owners do you think you've spoken with that have expressed interest?
Just in the last couple of days, and these are pretty sizable. I liken it kind of to if you're doing a fundraising for a political race, you go and you try to talk to some donors or supporters who you think may give bigger dollars, and you kind of start working down, and of course people start reaching out. But 10 to 15 that I feel pretty good about in terms of bigger dollars. I want to start there with that base and then work out. But that's important that the LSU community, the faithful and the athletes there and everyone else know that we're not going to sit on the sidelines. We're not going to sit back and let kids get poached. And, we're going to make it attractive for kids to want to be at LSU and for kids to stay at LSU just by what we put out there as opportunities. So
for the many, many business owners that are now going to reach out to you, what's the best? Have you got like getnil.com yet or something? NILSU.com, something like that? What's the best way?
I like how you're thinking. I was actually the other morning while exercising thinking of different web addresses for it.
Marketing minds, man.
I like that. I do.
But seriously, is there a way that you would want people to reach out to you?
I mean, right now, just you can email me. My email, Gordon@getgordon.com, or just call the numbers. You might have seen them on a billboard or two around the state, and you'll find your way to me.
He's got a Twitter as well, as I found out.
That's right. That's right.
He's at Gordon McKernan. I appreciate a couple of minutes. Thank you for being generous with your time, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
And real quick, Matt, I want to tell you that how much I respect your dad. I had the opportunity to hire him years ago. You probably don't even know anything about it, but what a class act and a great man, a great lawyer. It really came to my defense and help on something. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Very cool, man. I appreciate you sincerely for saying that. Thank you.
Okay. God bless. Merry Christmas.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.